All praises to Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi, Bahasham, Rakahakodash. Next, I want to give double honors to the apostles, the bishops, and the elders at Great Millstone who rule well. Peace and salutations unto the Lord's elect. To my left over here on YouTube, this is Dabu77. Go, fair use, fair use.
Out of Ukraine say that they've been studying the moon and they claim to have captured possible evidence, they say, of a technologically advanced non-human civilization. Scientists at Ukraine's main astronomical observatory, which is situated right around Kiev, they say that they had spotted more than 20 unidentified objects moving near or across the moon over several months. Some of the disc-shaped objects were estimated to measure between 15 and 25 miles across. This new study that they put out here shows that there's two categories, they state: atmospheric objects that appear stationary and continental objects that appear to move across the surface of the moon. The objects also appear to display unusual changes in brightness and rotation. They state that they use this high-speed camera that snapped 20 images every second, allowing the scientists to track these objects that would have otherwise been nearly impossible to see. They say these UFOs were so faint that some appeared as nothing more than a 2x2 pixel against the moon. But they say that they're not behaving randomly. Some of the ones labeled atmospheric appear to be locked in where they're at with the moon. They're moving in sync with the moon, almost like they're anchored down at the bottom and tethered, almost like you would see an aerostat or something down at the border. But they go on to say that they have also picked up evidence here that the study shows two objects were shown to be hundreds of miles apart and they were flashing in unison. So you have all of these things popping off with the moon. The size of this is all going to vary depending on what it's made of, but they're stating something is up there. And, well, what timing here? With everything going on with disclosure, or lack of, should I say, because they just keep dropping the small stuff and nothing major has come of it, so to speak. You can say it's pretty big when they show you they've shot down UFOs, UAPs with Hellfire missiles. They've showed us that. But the people are so docile, they don't seem to care. And I don't think they're going to care until they see a real life entity, fallen one, here. So beware of deception. But at the same time, it looks like there's quite a show that's going to be going on up in space. If you just take the time to go and look, we have Elon smashing a part of a rocket into the moon here within the next 24 hours. I'm going to try to capture it. If any of you out there get any images or video of that, let me know. Dabu7@yahoo.com. I'd love to share that, analyze it, and let people know what's going on. So, until next time, this has been Dabu7.
See, yeah, TikTok, you Israelites, repent and turn back to Yahawashi. And just a few things. Y'all not shooting down no chariot, which y'all ignorantly call UFOs. Those are the chariots of Israel, the chariots of Yahawashi. Y'all not shooting them down. And y'all are not gonna, ain't no fallen ones. The angels, those are the vehicles of the angels. They cannot be defeated. You see? And they're taunting you devils because y'all can't go to the moon. Y'all ain't never been to the moon and y'all can't do it. You see? But Yahawashi can do it. And those are the Lord's angels. Y'all can get enough of blasphemy, man. Psalm 68 and verse 17, the chariots of Yahawashi are 20,000, even thousands of angels. The Lord is among them as in Sinai in the holy place. You see, now let's get Isaiah 31 and verse 2, I believe. Verse 3, it says, now the Egyptians, America is spiritually known as Egypt. See, now the Egyptians are men and not Yahawashi, and their horses, their military powers, flesh and not spirit. When Yahawashi shall stretch out his hand, both he that helpeth shall fall, and he that is hoping shall fall down, and they shall all fail together. For thus hath Yahawashi spoken unto me. Like as the lion and the young lion roaring on his prey, when a multitude of shepherds is called forth against him, he will not be afraid of their voice, nor abase himself for the noise of them. So shall the Lord Yahawah, Bahasham Yahawashi of hosts, come down to fight for Mount Zion, and for the hill thereof, as birds flying. You see? So will Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi of hosts defend Jerusalem. Defending also he will deliver it, and passing over he will preserve it. See, the Lord is getting ready to come. The Lord is getting ready to come down here, but you devils, y'all have to implement the microchip, the RFID microchip. The RFID microchip has to be made mandatory because that is prophecy. But the Lord is going to cause his mighty ones to come down. Let's get that. What is that? Joel 3. I want to say his verse, maybe 13. Salakia. Verse 11. It says, assemble yourselves and come, all ye heathen, and gather yourselves together round about. Thither, cause thy mighty ones to come down, O Yahawah, Bahasham Yahawashi. You see, the heavenly host will be here in the midst of World War III. Let the heathen be wakened and come up to the valley of Yahawashi, for there will I sit to judge all the heathen round about. Put ye in the sickle, for the harvest is ripe. Come, get you down, for the press is full. The fats overflow, for their wickedness is great. You see? Those are the chariots of Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi, and the Lord is going to invade this place with his troops, as it tells you in Habakkuk 3 and verse 16, I believe. It says, when I heard, my belly trembled, my lips quivered at the voice. Rottenness entered into my bones, and I trembled in myself, that I might rest in a day of trouble. When he cometh up unto the people, he will invade them with his troops. See, the invasion is coming. It's coming. It ain't going to be little green men from Mars. No, it's going to be Yahawashi and the angels. You see? Matter of fact, Habakkuk 3 and verse 8, it says, was Yahawah, Bahasham Yahawashi, displeased against the rivers? Was thine anger against the rivers? Was thy wrath against the sea? That thou didst ride upon thine horses and thy chariots of salvation. You see? Those so-called UFOs, that's how the elect is going to get out of here. And Yahawashi, his fathership, is the biggest one. You can't even see the beginning or end of it. That's why it says, behold, he cometh with clouds, and every eye shall see him. We'll get that. Verse 12, thou didst march through the land in indignation. Thou didst thresh the heathen in anger. You see? NLT, you went out to rescue your chosen people, the elect of the nation of Israel, to save your anointed ones, the elect of the nation of Israel. You crushed the heads of the wicked and stripped their bones from head to toe, because it's going to be a military invasion. Remember, the Lord is a man of war. One of his titles is the Lord of hosts, the Lord of heaven's armies. You see? Yahawah Tazabawaf. Y'all gonna stop playing with the Lord, man. Y'all gonna stop playing with the Lord, man. He's getting ready to bring war to your bosom. Exodus 15 verse 3. The Lord is a man of war. Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi is his name. And Yahawashi is coming. And those are our brethren. The angels are our brethren, man. Let's get that. Revelation 19 and verse 10. That's why these devils are scared, man. Y'all are terrified. Matter of fact, we'll get this, man. Y'all are terrified, man. Jeremiah 10. Hear ye the word which Yahawah, Bahasham Yahawashi, speaketh unto you, O house of Israel. Thus saith Yahawah, Bahasham Yahawashi, learn not the way of the heathen, and be not dismayed at the signs of heaven. You see, for the heathen are dismayed at them because y'all don't know what they are. And we're clearly telling you, look, those are the angels of Yahawah, Bahasham Yahawashi, and the Lord's getting ready to cause his mighty ones to come down, man. You see? And Yahawashi is not coming alone. He's coming with Michael. You see? And 10,000s of his saints, man. The Lord getting ready to show you devils that y'all ain't nothing, man. Jude 14. And Enoch also, the seventh from Adam, prophesied of these, saying, behold, Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi cometh with 10,000s of his saints, to execute judgment upon all, and to convince all that are ungodly among them of all their ungodly deeds which they have ungodly committed, and of all of their hard speeches which ungodly sinners have spoken against him. These are murmurers, complainers, walking after their own lust, and their mouth speaketh great swelling words, having men's persons in admiration because of advantage. Right? The Lord is coming to execute judgment, man. Let's get that. Isaiah 66 and verse 15. It says, for behold, Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi. For behold, Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi will come with fire, and with his chariots, so-called UFOs, like a whirlwind, to render his anger with fury, and his rebuke with flames of fire. For by fire and by his sword will Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi plead with all flesh, and the slain of Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi shall be many, you see? NLT, see, the Lord is coming with fire, and with his swift chariots roar like a whirlwind. He will bring punishment with the fury of his anger and the flaming fire of his hot rebuke. The Lord will punish the world by fire, and by his sword he will judge the earth, and many will be killed by him. That's what's coming, man. That's what's coming. That lion out of the tribe of Judah. Matter of fact, let's get that. Jeremiah 49 and verse 22. Behold, this is Yahawashi. Behold, he shall come up and fly as the eagle and spread his wings over Basra, symbolic for American. And at that day shall the heart of the mighty men of Edom, the so-called white man, be as the heart of a woman in her pangs. Right? The Lord is getting ready to visit you devils, man. And he's bringing war to you devils' bosom. He's coming at the climax of World War III. And it will be nuclear, because those missiles, they belong to the Lord. He's getting ready to show you devils, man. He's getting ready to show you devils. Revelation 19 and verse 11, and I saw heaven opened, and behold, a white horse. That's Yahawashi's fathership. You see, that white horse. Let's get 2 Ezra 13 and verse 6. But I beheld him, lo, he had graved himself a great mountain and flew upon it. You see, they said, they looking at chariots that's 25 to 30 miles long. Verse 7, but I will have seen the region or place whereout the hill was graven, and I could not. You see, Ezra said, I can't see the beginning or end of this thing. Where did it come from? You see, when the Lord cracked them clouds, man, y'all are gonna see, y'all are gonna know it, man. Y'all are gonna know it. Oh, y'all are gonna know it. Let's go back here. All over the place, Salakia. Behold, he cometh with clouds, and every eye shall see him, and they also which pierced him, and all kindreds of the earth shall wail because of him. Even so, amen. You see, look, he comes with the clouds of heaven, the chariots of Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi, you see? And everyone will see him, even those who pierced him, right? Because them Roman soldiers who pierced our Lord, they're back to receive that judgment. I wouldn't be surprised if you meet Yahawashi face to face, and all of the nations of the world will mourn for him. Yes, amen, we'll mourn because of him, because he's coming to kill. You see? The true Grim Reaper. Revelation 19 and verse 11. It says, and I saw heaven open, and behold, a white horse, and he that sat upon him was called Faithful and True. And in righteousness he doth judge and make war. You see, his eyes were as a flame of fire, and on his head were many crowns, because he's coming to cast all you heathen down. And he had a name written that no man knew but he himself. That's his rank. And he was clothed with a vesture dipped in blood, and his name is called the Word of Yahawah. And the armies, the angels, which were in heaven, follow him upon white horses, so-called UFOs, clothed in fine linen, white and clean. You see? And out of his mouth goeth a sharp sword, that with it he should smite the nations, right? Because he's going to give the command. And them chariots, the so-called UFOs, they shoot out concentrated nuclear fire, something that you cannot put into human words. Can't explain. Well, you'll just see it. If the Lord grants thee to live, Lord willing, the Lord have mercy on me. You see? Let's get the account. 2 Ezra 13. And it came to pass after 7 days, I dreamed a dream by night, and lo, there arose a wind from the sea, that it moved all the waves thereof. The Lord gonna crack them clouds. And I beheld, and lo, that man waxed strong with the thousands of heaven. You see? And when he turned his countenance to look, all the things trembled that were seen under him, because he's coming on that chariot. You see? He's coming on that chariot. Isaiah 47 and verse 3. It says, thy nakedness shall be uncovered. Yea, thy shame shall be seen. I will take vengeance, and I will not meet thee as a man. So the Lord is not coming to meet you devils as a man. He's coming as a powerful angelic force with the heavenly host. You see? And whensoever the voice went out of his mouth, all they burned that heard his voice, like as the earth felleth when it filleth the fire. And after this I beheld, and lo, there was gathered together a multitude of men out of number from the four winds of the heaven to subdue the man that came out of the sea. But I beheld, and lo, he had graved himself a great mountain and flew upon it. But I would have seen the region or place whereout the hill was graven, and I could not. And after this I beheld, and lo, all they which were gathered together to subdue him were sore afraid, and yet durst fight. And lo, as he saw the violence of the multitude that came, he neither lifted up his hand, nor held sword, nor any instrument of war. That goes back to Isaiah 31 and verse 3. Now the Egyptians are men and not power, and their horses flesh and not spirit. When Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi shall stretch out his hand, both he that helpeth shall fall, and he that is hoping shall fall down, and they shall fail together. You see? You see, the Lord ain't easy work, man. The Lord's gonna make it easy work of you devils. But only I saw that out of his mouth, as it had been a blast of fire, and out of his lips a flaming breath, and out of his tongue he cast out sparks and tempests, because the chariots, They're going to be shooting that concentrated nuclear fire. And they all were all mixed together, the blast of fire, the flaming breath, and the great tempest, and fell with violence upon the multitude which was prepared to fight, and burned them up, every one of them. You see? So that upon a sudden of an innumerable multitude, nothing was to be perceived but only dust and smell of smoke. When I saw this, I was afraid. Verse 27, and whereas thou sawest that out of his mouth there came a blast of wind, and fire and storm, and that he held neither sword, nor any instrument of war, but that the rushing in of him destroyed the whole multitude that came to subdue him. This is the interpretation. Behold, the days come when Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi will begin to deliver them that are upon the earth, the elect, and he shall come to the astonishment of them that dwell on the earth. And one shall undertake to fight against another, one city against another, one place against another, one people against another, and one realm against another. Cause thy mighty ones to come down, O Yahawah, Bahasham Yahawashi. And the time shall be when these things shall come to pass, and the sign shall happen which I showed thee before. And then shall my son be declared, whom thou sawest as a man ascending. Right? In Acts 1, it tells you he's coming back in the same way. And when he had spoken these things while they beheld, he was taken up, and a cloud received him out of their sight, the chariot of Israel. And while they looked steadfastly toward heaven and went up, as he went up, behold, two men stood by them in white apparel. These are angels, which also say, Ye men of Galilee, why stand ye gazing up to heaven? This same Yahawashi which is taken up from you into heaven shall so come in like manner as ye have seen him go into heaven. See, behold, he cometh with clouds. And when all the people hear his voice, every man shall in their own land leave the battle they have one against another. He's coming in the midst of World War III. And an innumerable multitude shall be gathered together, as thou sawest them, willing to come and to overcome him by fighting. But he shall stand up on the top of Mount Zion, and Zion shall come and shall be showed to all men. Behold, he cometh with clouds, and every eye shall see him. Being prepared and build it, like as thou sawest, the hill, graven without hands. And this my son shall rebuke the wicked inventions of those nations, which for their wicked life are fallen into the tempest. Right? Didn't it say that in Isaiah 66, the Lord coming with them rebukes? Let's get that. For behold, Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi will come with fire, and with his chariots like a whirlwind, to render his anger with fury, and his rebuke with flames of fire. You see? It's the same account, man. And this my son shall rebuke the wicked inventions of those nations, all you heathen, man, which for their wicked life are fallen unto the tempest. Right? This is going to be a whooping that y'all ain't never seen before. Micah 5 verse 15, I will execute vengeance and anger and fury upon the heathen, such as they have not heard. You see? Y'all getting ready to feel it, man. Psalms 110 and verse 5. Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi at thy right hand shall strike through kings in the day of his wrath. He shall judge among the heathen. He shall fill the places with the dead bodies. He shall wound the heads over many countries. That's what's coming, man. You heathen getting ready to pay. Y'all getting ready to feel the wrath of Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi, the Lord of hosts, man. Jeremiah 25:27 in NLT. Then Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi said to me, now tell them, all you heathen, and you rebellious Israelites, this is what the Lord, Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi of heaven's armies, the God of Israel says, drink from this cup of my anger, get drunk and vomit, fall to rise no more. But I am sending terrible wars against you. You see, World War III, the war of Armageddon. This is the war to end all wars. Now, this is going into the nations. But you Israelites, you rebellious Israelites, you're going to find yourself over there. You see? You're going to find yourself over there in the so-called Middle East to become a part of the soil, because you're not coming back. And if they refuse to accept the cup, tell them, the Lord, Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi of heaven's armies says, you have no choice but to drink from it. You see? So y'all gonna drink this cup. The Lord coming, man. And them the so-called UFOs, if they telling you anything other than that they're the angels of the Lord, they're lying. See? Those are the angels. Those are the vehicles of the angels. It tells you that in Ezekiel 1, man. And yes, they move in ways that can't be explained. The appearance of the wheels in their work was like unto the color of a beryl. They four had one likeness, and their appearance and their work was as it were a wheel in the middle of a wheel. When they went up their four sides, and they turned not. When they went, they don't have to turn, you see? You see? These beings could move in any of the four directions they faced without turning as they moved. You see? You see? Learn not the ways of the heathen, and be not dismayed at the signs of heaven, because that's our help. That's the chariots of salvation. That's how the elect is getting out of here, man. The cloud is going to receive them. And they heard a great voice from heaven saying unto them, Come up hither. And they ascended up to heaven in the cloud, and their enemies beheld them. Those are the chariots of salvation, you see. In the same hour was there a great earthquake. See, and the 10th part of the city fell, because Babylon the Great is split into 10 FEMA zip codes. This is going into when the Lord commands his nuclear missiles to be shot off. And in the earthquake were slain of men 7,000. That's the number of completion. And the remnant, the elect, were affrighted and gave glory to the God of heaven. You see, the second woe was past, and behold, the third woe cometh quickly. That's what salvation is, being delivered from the nuclear destruction. Shalom.